Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Fiber Broadband Association's Five for Breakfast. We're now in our 25th episode of 2024. Before we kick off, I'd like to thank Wesco, the platinum sponsor of Five for Breakfast. You know, in Washington last week, the Department of Commerce announced that NTI has approved the initial BEAD proposals for Illinois, Oregon, and Puerto Rico. That brings us to a total of 13 states and territories that now have their BEAD approvals. So we're making good progress, still have about 43 states and territories left to go. So hopefully they'll start coming very quickly. At the end of this week, I'm going to be heading off to Lima, Peru, where we're going to be holding our next Latin America Fiber Connect conference. Last year, our last LATAM event was in Puerto Rico a month ago or so, and that was sold out. And I expect Puerto Rico to be just as good. Our next event in the U.S. is our annual Fiber Connect 2024 conference in Nashville, July 28th to 31st. We are expecting a record crowd this year, and registration continues to be running about 30% ahead of last year's record audience. You know, the Gaylord only has 2,880 hotel rooms, so if you haven't registered yet, please do so and secure your room at the Gaylord ASAP. We are opening up an overflow hotel for those of you a little bit slow on finalizing your travel plans. After Fiber Connect in Nashville, we'll be in Des Moines in September, Calgary in October, Albuquerque in November. So we'll see you at one of those events as well. That brings us today's Fiber for Breakfast session. Our special guests are Evann Freeman, our Fiber Connect 2024 chairman, and Rich Williams, our Fiber Connect 2024 program director, who will be joining me in a Fiber Connect 2024 conference preview. Before I formally introduce today's guests, I'd like to introduce David Norris from our team, who's going to walk us through some housekeeping items.
Thank you very much, Gary, and thank you everybody who's joined us this morning. We appreciate it. Before I go over a few logistics, we'd like to once again thank our platinum sponsor of Fiber for Breakfast, Wesco. Now, if everyone would please keep in mind, all participants are in listen-only mode today. To ask a question, please type it into the question box located within the control panel on the side of your screen. We will have a Q&A session with our panelists at the end of today's session. This presentation is being recorded and will be available on FBA's website within 24 to 48 hours. You can find that recording in the Events tab underneath the Fiber for Breakfast drop-down option. Finally, at the conclusion of the presentation, you'll be prompted to complete a brief feedback survey. Please take a moment to do so. We appreciate your input. With that, I will pass things back over to Gary to get us started. Gary?
Thanks, David, and good morning. I'm Gary Bolton, the president and CEO of the Fiber Broadband Association. Last week on Fiber for Breakfast, our guest was Sanjay Nagpal, the director of go-to-market for Terra at X, the Moonshot Factory. This is Google's super secret R&D shop where they invent and launch breakthrough technologies that we all hope will make the world a radically better place. Sanjay discussed expanding fast, affordable broadband with next generation free space optic connectivity. If you haven't seen free space optics, really cool, and they're going to be one of our proof of concepts at our conference in July, so you'll want to check that out. Today we have a special Fiber for Breakfast preview of our Fiber Connect 2024 event coming up in Nashville, July 28th to 31st, with Evann Freeman, our Fiber Connect 2024 chairman, and Rich Williams, our Fiber Connect 2024 program director. Evann Freeman is the vice president of government and community relations at EPB in Chattanooga. In this role, Evann leads EPB government relations and economic development. Evann's service at the Fiber Broadband Association, he's on the board of directors, and he's also our 2024 Fiber Connect chairman. Rich is the president of Connect2 Communications PR agency. He works with clients on messaging, program development, and goals, and with the team at Connect2 to ensure programs developed match clients' priorities. In his role at FBA's conference program director, he works with the executive team, the conference committee, and other stakeholders to craft and curate the agendas for our regional Fiber Connect workshops and our annual Fiber Connect conference and expo. So welcome, Evann, Rich, and for our audience, please type in your questions as we go, and we'll work them into discussion. With that, let's get things started. You know, today's session is basically an insider's guide to Fiber Connect 2024 with the leadership of the conference and why it's become the #1 fiber broadband conference in the world. Before we jump in this, let's start off with the Evan and Rich partnership and why you guys are so passionate about the conference and why you guys are having so much fun. So I'll throw that over to you guys to kick off with that question.
Yeah, hey Gary, and thanks for allowing us to take opportunity to talk with you today. This Fiber for Breakfast is always a pretty cool venue and greatly attended. Yeah, we're really excited about the conference and how the development's growing. There's a lot of excitement around it, and especially with the regional events that we've done so far this year in Richmond and Little Rock and Deer Valley. The attendance there has been great, and it's really been, the momentum leading up to the conference has been going pretty good. And it's really great working with Rich, because Rich knows everybody, it seems. So I think it really makes a good team. So
You're on mute, Rich,
Rich, yeah.
the expert on webinars.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I listened before and I put it on mute. The thing I get so excited about for Fiber Connect is the conversations that happen at the regionals and at the event that are outside the programming. Like, I know our remit is the programming, but just being in the room and hearing people who haven't met before talk about getting together after the conference to see what they can do together, right? I've seen that at the federal level. I've seen that within operators, with vendors. It's just really a special event that allows the community to come together and look at how they can take fiber forward.
Well, Evan, you've been leading the conference efforts now for a couple of years, and your company's been involved with the Fiber Broadband Association for quite some time. Can you talk a little bit about why FBA has been such a strong priority for EPB?
Definitely. FBA has just the opportunities, to work with other industry experts and the public policy influence that FBA has really grown to have, and just to reach across the country with the memberships is really a value for us. If you look back to when we first got into the business, 2009, everybody's asking, why gig to the home? Do you really need those kind of speeds? And you fast forward, we definitely need more of that kind of speed throughout the country. And I think FBA over the years has done a tremendous job in just really leading that effort, and to bringing the awareness of fiber across the country, and continue to push the needle on the need for fiber, and getting that done through public policy and making sure that industry experts are able to get together.
Rich, we've known each other for several decades now, and you've run communications for some very successful startups, starting from just a few people to billion-dollar valuations such as Sycamore and so forth. And, you've created a very successful PR agency. What are some of the things you've seen over the years that really led up to this moment that makes 2024 such a pivotal year in our industry?
Well, as you mentioned, we've known each other far longer than, for a very long time. And it's been interesting to watch the broadband industry mature and evolve over that time. One of the things that's so exciting about right now is this really is a pivot point in industry, and you don't really get to be part of that often. Like, these sort of inflection points where the industry makes a shift is profound, and it's a lot of fun and exciting to be part of that, to help shape the industry's leading conference that's going to talk about these issues, to bring together the people that are going to help build these networks, from a vendor, from a system integrator, from an operator, to the public policy folks that are helping with funding and support. It's just a really interesting time in the market as all these things come together that really create a shift in how we're going to communicate going forward. It's pretty exciting.
No, it's an exciting time. And Evan, your company's enabled Chattanooga to become, I believe the first gigabit city in the world, and then the first 10 gig city, and now the first 25 gig city. And EPB, I guess about a little over a year ago, became deployed the world's first quantum network. So what impact has fiber had on your community, and why does EPB keep pushing the envelope on technology and the latest critical infrastructure?
Yeah, and that's a great question. One of our missions is to enhance the quality of life for our community, and so one of those things is thinking about over and over again what can we do to be a benefit to our community. So from the start of having the first gig, I think at the time there was kind of a study done to say the economic impact would be around 600 million, 10 years looking forward. And so at that time, we were kind of operating on that. And we really didn't know the true impact of what it was going to do for our community. But fast forward 10 years, that gig service provided $2.7 billion in economic impact. And it really created a thriving entrepreneur community, a lot of venture capital startup, just because of that, the internet speeds. And then so if you go next to the 10 gig and then the 25 gig, it really is a true testament to the fiber's durability and the fact that we're able to just change the electronics on each end and really grow the speeds. And then you mentioned the quantum network. It's similar to when we put the first gig in. We're confident that quantum is going to be a big thing going forward. What that looks like and how that ends up, what direction that ends up going, we're not sure, but we know that this is an opportunity for our community to go and be a part of quantum and grow it. And similar to those startups and companies that benefited from the gig that are multi-million-dollar companies today. What's going to happen when they take speed of the quantum and have that opportunity?
Well, we're going to have one of my favorite quantum physicists at the conference, Dr. Duncan Earl. I always love hearing from Duncan. And let's talk about, jump into this. Okay, this year's conference. Can you tell us a little bit about the theme and what, this, I guess you like to call it a tasty meal that you guys are preparing for us in Nashville?
Yeah, our conference theme is accelerating our fiber future, and it's exactly just that. We have unprecedented amounts of government funding, both on the federal level and states. You see what's happened throughout the states. You mentioned the BEAD approvals that's going around. So those are tremendous opportunities. So really, this conference we're taking the approach of by 2030, what are some of the things we're going to be able to do with fiber. So, having a focus on middle mile networks and how we're going to build this and get this done. And then once it's completed, how is AI and fiber? What are the opportunities there? What are the opportunities for quantum? What are some of the things that can do with ag tech? Just how fiber is really going to revolutionize our country. So we feel like we really have a pretty good slate of speakers that are going to come and really address a lot of those issues going forward.
So you got some slides here. Do you guys want to kick through some of those slides?
So you talked about a tasty treat. So, in my house, no meal is a meal that doesn't start with good appetizers. And we start with those appetizers on Sunday with 2 pre-conference workshops that are FBA curated. One, the traditional FBA Fiber Starter Toolkit. That's really designed for people that are just getting into the fiber business, bringing some of our member experts to help explain how to market a service for the first time, how to handle grant applications, et cetera. And then a second one focused on community broadband. We've seen the rise of munis, utilities, and co-ops play a pivotal role in some of these smaller communities. So we've created a program to let them talk through what they're finding, the challenges, the opportunities they have as they look to connect their communities. And then we have some other sponsored pre-conference workshops they're taking place as well. And all the information with the speakers and the topics are on the conference website. So definitely check that out. Come in early Sunday, and then Sunday night we got the welcome party, and an amazing artist named Ryan Larkins is performing. So you don't want to miss. It's one of those artists you're going to see at Fiber Connect, and when he's a big, huge star, you're going to be thinking, "Wow, I saw him at Fiber Connect."
So who's that? Who's the artist?
Ryan Larkins. He was this year's American Country Music Awards nominee for songwriter. He wrote the song "The Painter" that Cody Johnson took to #1. I think it was 10 or 12 weeks #1. Just a phenomenal artist.
And typically we do a lot more pre-conference workshops. So it looks like we're kind of putting more focus on 2 key workshops rather than doing a whole bunch of them. Is that what the thought process?
Yeah, so we're focusing on the two that really showcase what our members are able to do. And then we wanted to create opportunities for our members who wanted to have content that was more specific to their offer to present those as well. So we have slots available for members who want to present more specific details on what the value they bring. One of the things um, we are very careful about with the programming that's Fiber Connect programming is that it's non-commercial in nature. We're really focusing on the topics and trends and issues that our industry faces, as opposed to other conferences you might attend where people get up and talk about their products. But that is an important thing for companies to do, and so we've created that slots in the pre-conference workshops to allow them to do that.
So again, next on the slide, I think we talk about some of the general sessions we can go through. And you mentioned, the industry demand driver. You mentioned Dr. Duncan Earl, who's going to talk from Cubatech. We'll talk a little bit about quantum, and then Teddy Burkett, who's with Land O'Lakes, and really digging into the ag tech, which I think is pretty cool. We've had him last year at a regional event, and the crowd really responded well to the content that had there. And of course, with all the federal funding, again, it's very important that we hear from the departments and the offices throughout the federal government that are distributing those funds. And I think we have a pretty solid lineup, leading off with Alan Davison from NTIA.
And Andy Burke's kind of special to you guys in Chattanooga, huh?
Yeah, very special, very special. Former mayor of Chattanooga, and has done a lot, did a lot here in Chattanooga to make sure that we were successful, and has done a great job, working for Department of Commerce and then for USDA, and making sure that there's connectivity throughout the country.
All right, what else we got?
One of the popular things that we created last year that is back this year is our Operator Light Talks. And these are TED Talk style talks, 18 minutes in length, and really give an opportunity for our operator members to talk about how they're having an impact on their communities. These are narrative in style. And we're really excited this year to have 5 amazing light talks. Robert Brigham from the Executive Director of the Eastern Shore Virginia Broadband Authority, Kim McKinley from Utopia Fiber, Robert Griffin from Choctaw Nation, Eric Lee from Verizon, and Brian Bond from Brightspeed. So operators different sizes with different remits, different structures. And we're really excited this has become such a popular part of the programming.
Fantastic.
There's a lot of excitement around this. Really looking forward to that. And then some of the general session panels, talking about middle mile, and some experts there. Digital equity is touched on and addressed. As we get connected, we have to remember that's going to be a big focus, is not only having the access to fiber, but the affordability. And so seeing what programs are out there and what different organizations and cities are doing to address that issue. And then the applying AI to your network. But again, with the GPT moment, I know AI has been around for a while, but it certainly accelerated with that moment. So that focus and emphasis is on top of everybody's mind, and that technology is only going to accelerate further. So it's a great conversation to have there.
Fantastic. This is new this year, the Awards Luncheon, huh, Rich?
It is. So what we wanted to do is keep the pace going on the general sessions and create a special event where we could showcase the award winners and the people that are contributing to FBA and the industry. And that's the traditional Star, Photon, Gene Scott, All Fiber Network Provider, and then some partner awards with Lightwave's FTT Excellence and CableFax Award, the Fiber Provider of the Year. We've also introduced a new segment of awards called the Fiber Forward Amplify Awards, and these are submission-driven, and they focus on subsets of our industry and our community. And we were thrilled with the nominations we have. Last Friday, we announced the finalists in these categories, and we're having a luncheon on Monday. It's going to be pretty spectacular.
Fantastic.
We'll announce the winners. Yeah.
All right,
I just want to add I was going to add to that the tickets for this is flying off the shelf. So definitely when you're registering, please go ahead and lock in your seat. It's been a pretty popular event.
And always popular, our Women in Fibers luncheon. That's great.
It is. We one of the things we did, one of the things we try to do at Fiber Connect and all our programming is to showcase the diversity and of our membership in our industry. And so you will see women and the full spectrum of our community represented throughout the conference. So one of the things we did this year is look to bring in 3 speakers who are outside the industry to talk about how they've been able to change their companies and their industry for women. And so we're really excited about the 3 we have as part of this year's Women in Fiber Luncheon. And
this is Autumn's performed what 2 or 3 years in a row, right, at Fiber Connect?
She was in Nashville. She didn't perform. We didn't bring her to Orlando, but she was in Nashville last time. Yeah, she was one of our main stage performers. And this year she's gonna. One of the things she's been doing the last couple of years is creating showcases for artists on the margins. She did it at Americana Fest last year. She was the first artist asked to curate rounds at the Bluebird Cafe for artists of color. So she's really taken that as part of her mission to and she'll talk about that at the conference at the Women in Fiber Luncheon and perform some too.
So C-suites can be a little bit different. That was so successful last year.
Yeah, but it was a great event last year. But we thought we'll tighten the time frame this year, just because there's a lot of content going around and not to overlap on too many things to get them in there. So with the C-suite forum, again having some great speakers invited, and we have a lot of, again, to focus on some of the government officials with that. But this is an opportunity for the CEOs and C-suite folks from companies to have an opportunity to have content in the conference that's geared more towards them. And again, with the conference, the goal is to have something to taste for everybody, something at dinner for everyone to like. So really opportunity to focus on this C-suite forum. And then Joanna Hovis, it's always good to hear from her and get her insights on that.
Yeah, no, I love Joanne.
And we included at the end of it, there's a networking cocktails and hors d'oeuvres, which is some of the feedback we got last year is just having some opportunity for people at this level to network, because they don't always see each other at other conferences where they get an opportunity to spend time. So that's part of this year's C-suite forum as well.
No shortage of breakouts.
Lots of breakouts. And before, Rich, I want you to go through this, but I will have to say we had fun with the breakout sessions, and with us being in Nashville and Music City, with some of the names going through the breakout sessions. Please look for all at the music, the fabric of music weaved through the conference. Anyway, I just wanted to point that out. It's pretty fun with some of these. But Rich, I'll kick it over to you.
If you are wondering why the name sounds a little bit familiar, it might be because it's a lyric or a title from a song you know. We do have our standard deployment and operations that operate both days, and then we have alternating ones, one on policy, one on customer experience, one on middle mile, and one on fiber financials. As Evan mentioned, our goal as we started to create this program was to create something for everyone within our industry, whether you're at an operator, whether you're at a vendor, whether you're in a function like marketing or policy or finance, just really entire ecosystem, whether you're just new to industry or you're the CEO. There is something for everyone at Fiber Connect, including the meetups that we have that are first-time attendees, women in fiber, fiber under 40, DEI, the opportunities for meet other people that you can network with to build your career and learn from. And we just want to make sure people come and really take advantage of all the things that are offered, and then let us know what we can do better next year. And again, we've partnered with the Broadband Forum to create their technology deep dives. That really is the deep technical content that a lot of our engineering members and operations members want to hear. So that's also happening during the same time as the breakouts.
Yeah, no, we have a great partnership with the Broadband Forum. It's just always a pleasure to have all our technical guys there to deep dive on what's the latest technology in fiber.
Well, and also
All right.
with the Broadband Forum, we have this year's talks are centered on 2 of their specifications. So really centering on that innovation that is based on a industry standard.
I think in some of the specialty programming that we added this year is the Broadband Policy Symposium. We had traditionally has had a sort of a policy luncheon, but there was really no content built around that. So this year we thought we could break that out a little bit and have this policy symposium. So this is an opportunity for public policy minded folks, sort of like myself, to have an opportunity to get together and really get great content that's focused on more in the weeds on a lot of the policy stuff, and then also again back to that networking opportunity at the end of it, so that the companies and folks, we encourage you to bring your marketing, your public policy, your CEO, again, having something for everybody at the table.
So the engineers could be in the broadband forum and the policy guys and so there's something for everybody.
Yep.
Well, then the
Go ahead,
Overbuilder
David,
Toolkit,
next slide.
hold on a second. The Overbuilder Toolkit is also new this year. We have a growing part of our membership that is what are called overbuilders, right? They're coming to markets and building, competing against incumbents. And so we've got a special program created for them Tuesday afternoon, which is new. And if you look at the pre-registration numbers for these 2 conferences, it's a bit overwhelming. Yeah. So we're pretty excited about this.
Well, fantastic. And then we get to the next slide, David. But the key at the end, the State Broadband Summit. I mean, that's the cherry on top of everything.
Yep, and the State Broadband Summit, we had this last year. Got great attendance, and again, it's the State Broadband Summit closes out the conference, so you definitely want to stick around on Wednesday to be a part of this. But we have Andy Burke, who we mentioned earlier, leading things off with his keynote, and then also we're going to have Misha from the Permitting Council. And I think the permitting, as there's deployments happening and money given out, the permitting is going to be a key to how successful and timely fiber is deployed. So that conversation is very important. And of course, the Tribal Broadband Fireside Chat. I'm excited about that. We have great speakers for that. And then ending with the deployment challenges and opportunities on that last mile connectivity.
So saving the best for last. So always great to finish strong.
Just one more slide. Because we're in Music City, as you mentioned, Gary, we've got amazing artists performing throughout the conference. We actually have a Spotify playlist of these artists. We want to get a preview, but you will be thoroughly entertained as you walk through Fiber Connect this year.
Our goal is to be the best and biggest fiber broadband conference in the world, and just take it up another level every year. So the food's going to be great, the venue's going to be great, the content is amazing, tons of entertainment. We have the opening receptions awesome this year. The Monday night reception is going to be bigger and better. So just anything else that you guys want to add?
No, I think that's all. I mean, again, you're talking about the biggest, having, hopefully getting to 5,000 attendees, and encourage you to grab your room and your registration before you miss out.
And as FBA's Jennifer Vassell says, come for the content, stay for the community. That's what's going to happen at Fiber Connect.
Well, that's the other part, is we have such an amazing industry, amazing time in our industry, and just to be together with all our friends and, all, arm in arm working to really elevate the quality of life for generations to come. So Evan and Rich, first of all, I just want to thank you guys for all your hard work. I know this is over a year in the planning and works. It all comes together, and you guys make it look easy. I'm just super excited. Can't wait till July 28th, and I look forward to everybody being there.
Thanks for having us.
Really excited about it. Thanks, Gary.
And then thanks everyone for joining us today, and I look forward to getting back together next Wednesday. We're going to be together with Kim Biddy of EPB, who's our chair of our Fiber Broadband Association's Marketing Committee, along with some of her colleagues, to discuss Net Promoter Scores, more than just a number, elevating the customer experience. So you're not going to want to miss that. So we'll see you guys next Wednesday, and we'll definitely see you guys in Nashville. It is going to be epic.